Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SecretsToBroadway.com. I have my good friend Terry McGardy here, who's a member of Local 1, has been on Broadway and the Broadway scene for over 35 years. His family, the McGardy family, have been doing this for many generations, and so he knows a lot of what's going on in the Broadway district. And Terry, I'd like to start off first by asking you, do you know if there are any tunnels or catacombs that run underneath the theaters? Or?
Well, I know there's back alleyways that connect theaters, like the Imperial, the Music Box, Richard Rogers, and it used to include the old Helen Hayes Theater. And with people that work in Phantom at the Golden Theater in the Schoenfeld, there's a back alleyway that's connected there. Also, some Jew Jamson houses are connected by back alleyways, and the Schubert, Booth, Broadhurst, and Schoenfeld are all connected by a back alleyway. Also, just recently, I heard of President Obama going to a show in the Barrymore Theater, and they used a tunnel to get to the Longacre Theater and exit on 47th Street out through the Longacre Theater.
Wow, that's really interesting. All for security purposes, I imagine.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. And are those tunnels still open to this day, or?
The back alleyways are, but I'm not sure about the tunnel. I think they just opened it up for the president and his family.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, I do know that you were talking something about the Lyric Theater on 42nd Street when it was still there. And I don't think a lot of people know about this. I certainly didn't. But could you elaborate on...
I went to work there. It was a long time ago. And years before, Houdini made an elephant disappear, and we found the swimming pool that the elephant would drop into.
Wow.
It was just a big swimming pool that was all covered over, and we didn't know why it was covered over, but we found out and read up on it and found out that it was a swimming pool for the elephant to drop into.
Holy mackerel, that's incredible. Did they all survive? I guess they knew how to swim, huh?
There was rumor that the first elephant drowned.
No!
So, but I don't know if that's true or not. So.
Oh, that would be sad if that was the case. But isn't that interesting that they wouldn't hear the drop of the...
The orchestra played loud.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's very cool. Now, you had mentioned, as you well know, that Secrets to Broadway is, the secrets and shopping and the supernatural. So I know that, Terry, you were one time, you refused to work in a certain theater nowadays because of what transpired back in 1989.
I think it was, I'm not sure what year it was.
You were working in the Prince of Central Park?
Yes. And I went in for my first day. I was working in electric, and I was sent down to work in the letter room for the letters for the marquee to get them all ready. And as I was working, the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and there was a silhouette of a person like watching me work. And I thought it was the guys joking around with me because I was by myself, and there's rumors of ghosts in the theater, and nobody was around, and it kind of followed me around the room. I looked to see if there was something on the light, and I just picked up and left. I grabbed my bag and I was running out the door of the theater, and my boss grabbed me and said, "Where you going? You look like you've seen a ghost." And I said, I did.
Wow.
And I refused to work in the theater, and I said, I'm going home. And he says, how about if I have somebody with you at all times? They said, okay, I'll work then, but I won't work in that theater by myself again.
Wow, so was it a solid figure, or
It was like a shadow of a silhouette of a person on the floor next to me. I'm like looking around at what I'm doing.
holy mackerel! I mean, that's got to be unnerving, to say the least. Has that ever happened to you since, or
No,
no?
not since.
Wow, that's amazing. And you said too is that on 45th Street there's a between 9th and 10th.
Yeah, there's some houses. There's an alleyway that goes in between the buildings, and there's a house there, which I was told was a designated haunted house in New York. I haven't looked it up. I'm gonna look it up after this again.
That's fantastic, Terry. I know that we have certainly spent a lot of years together since Cats and Les Miserables and Jekyll and Hyde and other shows that we've done together, and it's just been great. And just to let you know how curious things are on Broadway is that, you know, my wife, Kathleen Calais, and your family lived on not on the same street, but at the corner,
right? The block.
Right around the block. As a matter of fact, you always called it the house with the puddle in front of it,
Big
right?
puddle, yep, the house with the big puddle, because so it didn't work in front of their house.
It's amazing. And did you know that also, out of the millions of people that could have been there on opening night of Cats, my wife was there, and so was my first wife, which I think is kind of extremely unusual. But thanks so much for telling us about those secrets. It definitely are something to think of as people are going to the theater, and just knowing that the heritage of the Broadway theater and what it brings to New York City, and it is a national treasure for everyone coming to New York. So please say thank you with me to Terry, and have a wonderful evening, Terry.
You too.